From Rixie, this is the Daily Rec. I'm Steve Skeels, host of Rixie's game news podcast, Debuff. My TV show recommendation for today is Peaky Blinders. I had definitely seen Peaky Blinders come up on my Netflix suggestions quite a few times, but I first really heard about it about 3 years ago when my brother was watching the new season, at least at the time. And I didn't want to jump in with him because I caught parts of some episodes, but I didn't really care too much for gangster shows, and I don't know what season he was on, but I couldn't sit down and just watch it. But anyways, recently he got me into it, and I gotta say, it's fantastic, and I wish I got in earlier. Peaky Blinders is about the Birmingham, England gang of the same name. It's led by the Shelby family, of which Tommy Shelby's their leader. The first season has their gang, the Peaky Blinders, come into possession of guns meant for the military, and then they become under investigation by a chief inspector that was sent by William Churchill. The show does a good job going through their plans to expand their bookie business and become a more prominent gang. Also, Tommy has, aspirations for them to become a legitimate business, so get to see how all that works out. Over the seasons, you see them deal with the police as well as various gangs and organizations like the Irish Republican Army. But overall, I think the show is really well done, and the characters are fantastic. A couple of the main people in the family, Tommy and his two brothers, they were in World War I, and you get to see them having trouble adjusting to their lives now that they've returned, each dealing with it in their own ways. And there's some PTSD in the show, not just with them, but another character that you see early on. But it's cool. All the brothers are different from one another, and they play off each other's strengths pretty well. But one of the best characters they've got is their Aunt Polly, who is just fantastic, and Tommy's called her the heart of the organization. You can see throughout that she really holds them together and is basically Tommy's right hand. Also, the antagonists throughout the show are pretty good with a few standouts, but I think probably my favorite thing about the show is really the pacing. I mean, there's 6-episode seasons, so you get the conflict set up and finished in about half of what most shows tend to do. And I don't think it feels like, they could have had another episode showing this or that. They really just cut out a lot of the fat that some shows struggle with. I mean, there's just very little exposition throughout the show. As an example, a lot of the time you don't see the flow of information between the characters. The Peaky Blinders are a gang, and the main characters are family, so obviously everyone's going to be talking to each other. So when something happens and one character is aware of it, the next scene when they get together to talk about it, everyone already knows and they're working on the solution. Oftentimes, they don't even explain their plans to the viewer. It just really does a good job of the show don't tell, In general, I think I'd recommend Peaky Blinders to anyone who likes drama shows, but especially if you want something that goes by quickly, or if, unlike me, you are a fan of shows about gangs. It's currently available on Netflix in the United States, but can be found on other services as well. This has been your Daily Rec. We'll see you tomorrow.